Hey, this is Kelly.
Hey, Kelly, it's Eric from Locales Only. How are you?
Hey, Eric, I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Good. Hey, I'm going to be picking you up in a white Mercedes in just about 2 minutes. I'll meet you outside.
You got it, man. Cheers.
All right, see you. Bye-bye. Hey, welcome to Locales Only. I'm Eric Hale, and if you don't know me, I'm the guy that founded Local Magazine 14 years ago in my garage. It's been my job for all those years to tell you the coolest places to eat in all of Southern California, fun things to do so you have date nights that aren't boring, and we've talked to some really interesting people. Now we have a podcast, and we're lucky enough to call this Mercedes-Benz EQE all-electric sedan, courtesy of Fletcher Jones Motorcars in Newport Beach, our mobile podcast studio. So sit back, buckle up, and enjoy the conversation. Welcome to Locales Only. Today on Locales Only, we're going to be cruising around Huntington Beach, California. Up and down PCH, it's a beautiful day with blue skies. We're picking up Kelly Miller. He's the president of Visit Surf City. They're the organization that gets people to know about Huntington Beach all over the world. From the surf competitions to the air show, we're going to talk to Kelly about why Huntington Beach is such a great destination. So sit back, buckle up, and enjoy Locales Only. There he is right there. How are you?
Is this Uber?
Yeah, it is. Uber Deluxe.
How are you guys?
How are you?
Good.
Good, let me get you that out of their way. There you go.
Yeah.
It's just me in here.
Oh, good.
Just me and
Oh,
you.
yeah, good.
This is going to be your microphone so you
cool.
can talk into that.
Set that down.
Yeah, put your water there. Perfect.
Good.
Nice,
I like it.
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, man.
Yeah,
Nice to meet you. I
Yeah.
love your content. I was looking at it, and
thank
I think
you.
it's very well done.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so this will be a fun little
Oh,
cruise
yeah.
today. Kind of show everybody where we're at really
Sure.
quick here. If you just look, there's some bikes running across. You can see the
I know.
HB Pier and the Pacific Ocean right
I
there
know.
and some palm trees. So
Little
That's-
art show going on right there.
amazing. So that's what we're going to be looking at today.
Yeah.
We're going to drive up and down
Sounds good.
PCH and talk about this city.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, here you are, the historical PCH right here.
that's nice, right?
You gotta like this. Years ago, Henry Huntington, he had the red trolley line going here from all the way up LA down here, and this is used to come down here and used to dump people here. At the
Didn't
pier.
it finished all the way in Newport, didn't it?
It did.
Yeah,
It
right.
did.
I remember that. And he's who's the city is named after.
He is,
Yeah.
and when they built the pier, he brought down a guy named George Freeth,
Okay.
who was a surfer, came from Hawaii. They had big pools up there. Up in the LA area, and brought him down here, and they advertised, "Come on down and watch a man walk on water." So they opened the pier, and 5,000 people showed up on a Friday to see for the first time surfing in Huntington Beach.
That's really cool.
That's
How long
cool.
ago was that? About 100 years ago?
1914.
Yeah, over 100
Over
years
100 years
ago.
ago.
Wow.
The next day, 10,000 people showed up. That was more than all the people that lived in Huntington Beach at the time, or so urban legend has.
So we've had quite a history of big events here in Huntington Beach, because in reality, Huntington Beach is not a massive city. It's a part of Orange County. For those
Right.
not familiar with it,
Right.
it's coastal and it goes inland all the way kind of over to the 405 there.
It does.
So it might be bigger than you think, but it's not a giant city population wise to be hosting the size of events that
Right.
Huntington does. Right.
You know, it's so deceiving. I've lived in 8 states, and some of those states several times. So I've had the fortune to live around the country and travel around the world. And this is a city's about 27 square miles,
Yeah.
and it has about 200,000 people. And you tell people that, and they say, "Man, it just seems kind of smaller than that." And it has this small Cali beach vibe,
Mhm.
which is really unique about it. So even though we have a fair number of people here, but as you can see, it's just this great, like, this is what I think about in California.
Right. Well, Huntington Beach, I would say, is quintessentially that. Now,
Yeah.
I live in Newport Beach,
Yeah.
just one
Yeah,
city
yeah.
away, and I would say the two cities are quite a bit different in a lot
Very
of ways.
different. Very different.
This still feels, I think, a little bit more like the surf town that it was, especially along PCH. I mean,
Right.
you still have the addition of big shopping centers
Right,
like
right.
Pacific City, and new restaurants and
Right.
hotels like Pasea. But it still has a little bit of that surf town
It
feel,
does.
I think, along the coast. But let's talk about something
Yeah.
something I'd love to talk to you about, the I love the air show. I think the air show is really cool. I know I find out when it's happening every year because of where I live. I start hearing the warm-ups going over my house. How has that been for you guys?
It's been great. It attracts about 600,000-700,000 people. It's the largest event we do. The U.S. Open's second with about 400,000, but it comes at a time when we really need the business, and it's the largest air show now, I believe, in America. Late September, early October, depending on what pilots are available. But this whole area is just packed.
Oh yeah, shouting out Kevin, Code 4. Kevin is he was actually instrumental when we started our company, Locale. He was there to launch all of our events with us. He's been a really great guy for all of that. And I was actually supposed to fly with the Blue Angels a few years ago, and my wife scared me out of it. So I canceled the day up. I still regret it. I think it would have been a really cool experience. So that event's one of them. And I know you mentioned the US Open. The US Open, which is another, fantastic. I didn't realize that the US Open drew less people than the air show now. Yeah, it always seems like there's so many people here for the US Open.
And it runs a little bit longer. It's 9-10 days. Yeah. It's the largest surf event in the world. And people don't know this, Eric, but in 1959 was the first kind of West Coast big surf competition here. And that was 1959. And we had female surfers then, and WSL turns 50 years next year. Right. And we have probably almost a surf contest every week in Huntington Beach. We've got about 40 or 50 a year.
Yeah, that's what people probably don't know, because you see the US Open, but there's so much surf culture here.
There is.
That there's always a high school event or some sort of surfing event that's happening all the time, right?
There is.
Like this, if you're not from around here, my daughter went to Newport Harbor. Most of these schools have surf teams.
Right.
So they're competing. Yeah.
And the NSSA, the National Surf and Scholastic Association, was formed and is based here. And they do the big, just like, you go basketball in high school, they have surf national championships.
And you have the Surf Museum here too, right?
We do.
Just playing off that same theme.
Yeah, as we go downtown, you'll see we call it like the Times Square of surfing here. So you got the Surf Museum 3 blocks from PCH, which houses outside the world's largest surfboard. We set 2 world records. Then as you go towards the pier, then you got great surf shops, HSS, Jack's, and Rip Curl, etc. Then you got the Duke of Hanamoko statue overlooking our pier. Mm-hmm. You got the pier. You got the Surfing Walk of Fame and the Surfing Hall of Fame. And then, of course, the iconic pier where you go out there for dawn patrol and even sunset. People are always out there catching waves.
Oh, yeah.
It's so cool.
It's a beautiful, beautiful thing to see.
And we're Surf City, USA. We own that, and that's who we are.
Well, I think that all comes together. Now, we're driving by. I'm just looking over here. We're driving by Sea Salt. I know Alicia.
Alicia.
Yeah. I don't know if I say Alicia or Alicia. I always mess that up. But she's done a lot with these. We've really revamped all of these restaurants here along the coast. I think there's 7 or 8 of them now.
Yeah, I think she has 3 or 4 up here, and then she's got several south of the pier, and she's got another one that's going to be opening up closer to the Santa Ana River Trail. So between her stuff, and these are all on State Beach, because we go State Beach, then we go City, then we go State. Right. Then you throw the other vendors in there. So if you've seen, there's people jogging.
Yeah, this is unusual to anywhere, really.
Unbelievable.
You have a little bit of boardwalk like this in Pacific Beach, but here we have basically all the public beach, and then with her restaurants like Sea Salt and Sea Legs and all these different concepts, you have the ability to have this big open beautiful private beach and still go listen to music, have a drink, eat something, which is really, really, I think we can see one as we pass it right here. This is Sea Legs, where they'll do a lot of live concerts.
They're great concerts.
Sea Legs at the beach, which is just...
I saw Bill Burr there, the famous comedian.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's good. And what I love about this area, so we just went by Bolsa Chica.
Bolsa Chica on that side, which is great for hikes.
Great. And it's
birding.
It's incredible. Then as we go, the sunset, then you go to Seal Beach. But
yeah, we're coming right now, just so everybody can see, if you're driving along with us, we're basically just tapped Warner. Yeah. And that's going to be Sunset and Seal. So this is basically the end of Huntington Beach, or Surf City, that we'll be talking about. So I'm not going to do an illegal U-turn here. We're going to go back, but we'll kind of head back into Huntington Beach this way. Yeah. We'll turn around and go back. But this is one of those parts of the shoreline where when you are in other parts of Southern California,
you'll notice that most of the beach real estate is occupied by mega mansions.
That's right.
Right. That's in Manhattan Beach. That's in Malibu.
Right.
Sorry about what happened in Malibu, but
my goodness.
there's a lot of mansions along the beach in all of these cities, Laguna Beach. So it's hard to get down to the access. Huntington doesn't have, other than maybe one set of condos near the pier, doesn't have any houses on this side of PCH.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that. And that's a big deal. So when we talk about accessibility and that this is a beach that's open to everybody, we have been pretty intentional. When I say we, I mean collective we, on how all these parking lots, all these curb cuts, how it all develops. So my stepmom had MS for 50-some years. So I'm very aware of what it's like in a wheelchair to get people. So you come here, it's flat. There's easy access. We have Moby mats along here.
What's a Moby mat?
It's like recycled plastic, and
so you can get out onto the sand.
Oh, it's so cool.
Yeah.
I had some hip surgery about 3-4 years ago, and I said, you know what? I'm taking my walker. I'm going to the beach.
Because I know that we had some of our relatives out, and we were in Newport, and we were trying to get out on the sand, and they had these big kind of like tired.
We have those,
but it wasn't working very well on just regular sand. It was still a lot to push somebody or to move somebody. So these Moby mats make it where anybody can get out on this.
That's right.
That's cool.
And we have an adaptive playground that's coming up here. So it's designed for all ages, but mostly with young children that may have some challenges, both physical or mental. So that's all set up there. We have a guy, Rocky McKinnon, who teaches adaptive surf, which is great.
Yeah, so I've heard about Rocky. Yeah, that's really
unbelievable.
Now where we're coming up to here, this just reminds me, a couple years ago, my wife did her first half marathon.
Right up here it goes.
And this is where she turned and went up. I didn't join her. You know, once again, I have really good common sense. I stayed at the finish line and rooted her on. But yeah, I look at the view there. But yeah, you also have the Surf City Marathon and half marathon,
we do. And we got this another big event, a 10-miler in September or so. So we can close PCH, and those are two events we do. So that marathon and half marathon, and I think there's a 10K, maybe a 5, get about 19,000 people. Wow.
And there's just a lot of people coming through here all the time.
You know, when you go to our calendar events at surfcityusa.com, Eric, you'll see so many events. I mean, it blows me away that almost every weekend there's something going on. And this footprint is so unique. You can go down, come across from Newport. Go ahead.
How about Dog Beach?
Yeah, right here.
I mean, how much can we talk about just driving down? There's not another dog beach anywhere. This is a place where you can actually bring your dog.
We can.
And just let them run.
There you go. Dogs
and nobody lets anybody do that. So this is one of our favorites.
It is.
This is a reason in itself to come to Huntington Beach. Is Dog Beach.
And we have several events here. We have Corgi Beach Day, which is actually
that's amazing.
It's in April. They're moving it from here just south of the pier this year. So there's 2 Corgi days, and they get about 1,000 corgis each of those days.
Well, who doesn't like 1,000 corgis?
It's crazy. The Queen and King, they're around here somewhere. That's all I can say.
That's really, I mean, that's the thing is, you guys can see, and I apologize for interrupting you, but there's so much to see.
I know.
Just right here along this little stretch that we're driving up and down on, and we haven't even gotten into the, you know, like the beautiful historic high school.
I know.
One of my favorite places in Huntington Beach that we haven't even touched on is the Central Park. It is one of the best parks anywhere. We have an equestrian center. We have frisbee golf. We have probably the prettiest library. One of the prettiest libraries I've ever been
in the country. Yep.
Just absolutely stunning. And you know, there's so many aspects to this city. We haven't even started talking about the shopping, like Pacific City and Bella Terra and all that. So there's a lot of reasons to come here. So how do you define them? Is the messaging always come to Surf City? Or how are you getting people to come here?
So what we try and do is our brand promise is real simple. As I mentioned earlier, this is the quintessential California beach destination. So when you think about the music of the Beach Boys and Jan and Dean Torrance, my good friend who's on our board, who's 86 years old.
Well, Mike Love is sat right in that seat where you're sitting. Did you know that?
I do know it now.
Mike Love from the Beach Boys sat right there on that microphone.
So when we talk to people, and we know that when they come from LA County or San Diego County or Riverside County, and they get here and they go, oh, this is what I thought about California is. So what we try and do is we try and package that first up. How does it make you feel? There's an emotional connection there, whether you smelling the fire pits over 500 here, you see the palm trees, the sunsets, the smell, the pelicans, the porpoise, all that stuff. When you think about that, then that's the first thing. That's where I want to go. Then we go down a little bit deeper. We say, so what do you like to do? Are you active? Right. So then we tee up some things on our website about some things you can do. You mentioned the Frisbee golf or disc golf. You can do that, right? There's an equestrian center out there.
Which is great.
If you want to come here play, we have beach volleyball.
The equestrian center, by the way, when you get there, it feels like you're in a different part of the country.
Yep.
It's just mud on your shoes and a bunch of horse stalls, and you just disappear into this other part of the world. That's really cool. I just wanted to give that a shout.
No, that whole area is that Central Park's about 340 acres, and you are in a different world. The Secret Garden, just meander through there. So then our food scene is really coming on big now. We got all these great new restaurants that have opened up.
We love HQ Gastropub.
Oh yeah.
We love Jolie that just opened with that beautiful view.
Larea and Pasea.
Pasea, Larea, and Jim at TK Burger.
I hate that 2 days ago.
One of my first advertisers, and he used to let me sit upstairs in that second window.
Oh my God!
And upstairs and have a burger. Hi, Jim. One of my first good friends when I started this publication, and TK Burger's an institution that you have right here.
You can still, it's like $6.95 I think for a cheeseburger, and they literally it's ready in a minute, right?
Well, it's also the crunchy ice, and it's also the whatever seasoning he puts on the fries that make them so.
Oh, they're so good. Yeah.
But yeah, all those restaurants. HQ Gastropub has the beautiful little like speakeasy in the back. Jolie has these 180 or plus ocean views, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. And the Pasea, it's had been there a while now. It's been there 10 years now?
It opened, I've been here 11 years. I think it opened about eight, maybe 9 years ago. And they just redid a major, Larea, they just did that
gorgeous.
And
then Pacific City's turning 10 this year.
I know.
Which is hard to believe because it was a hole for, I think, 10 or 15 years.
And the Brandt's there now, and there's going to be a couple new places. I'll let them take the thunder on that. But what's happened since COVID hit is you saw, people come and go as far as their businesses. Now you're starting to see a resurgence of more retail and more restaurants. We just passed a couple of taqueria places over there, like street taco places.
Oh, I love Norma's fish tacos. That's a little hole in the wall hidden gem.
Yeah.
If anybody hasn't been to Norma's.
There.
Well, actually, so I used to, one of my first locations, Wing let us put our magazine there 15 years ago. So I used to carry it myself out of my car and load up that wall. It was right there.
We'll come down Main Street maybe a little bit.
That's maybe on the way back we finished with that, because there's the big thing that you guys do on Tuesdays there, right?
Every Tuesday, Surf City Nights.
Which is awesome.
And this is cool. This is Marine headquarters here. This was the first junior lifeguard program in the country.
That is incredible.
Bug Higgins was one of those guys that started that, and Gene was the other guy. They saw Duke Kahanamoku surf, I believe. Was it Newport or was it further south? Might have been further south, maybe by San Clemente, but they came back, they got some wood, they crafted their own shaped surfboard, but they started the Marine program here. And they took the examples of what the Hawaiians had done about saving people's lives and all that stuff. And George Freeth, the guy that I mentioned earlier, was part of that whole development of how to save people in the surf.
That's amazing. And they've done a great job. And the junior lifeguard program is incredible. Yeah. And now, as we get further this way, I feel like now we need to talk about volleyball, because now we have the whole volleyball thing to our right?
Yeah, and here's the RVs that we talked about. So these are
you got RVs all through here. Yeah. And normally we'll have the volleyball tournament, and then further south we start getting into back onto the state land, I think, where we start having concerts, like country concerts and stuff, right? This is nonstop. Your calendar is nonstop.
And then here's the four. You got the Kimpton was back there. So between the Kimpton, then you got the Pasea that we talked about, then the waterfront Hilton here, and then the
they
Hyatt.
Also have the beautiful their rooftop bar there as well.
That they
put a cover.
They reimagined it. It's kind of a little kind of a speakeasy now. It's beautiful. So
that's a great spot. If you guys don't know Offshore 9,
God, it's so
you
nice.
got to have a reservation, but get up there because it has probably the best view.
Oh, it's incredible.
Anywhere on this coast.
So then you got this is about almost over 1,400 rooms.
Yeah,
right here, and you'll see they'll do activations like this. They'll do some special things there, little concerts, great food scene, Cabo Wabo at Sammy Hager's place right there.
2011.
Yeah,
we had our 4th ever launch party here at the Hyatt Regency, and I'll show you. See the bridge that we're looking at just for some. So what happened, it started raining, first of all. I had to get a tent. And then somebody hit a substation and all the power went off. So if you guys can imagine, up on this bridge right here, I was up there praying that the power would come back on, because our event started in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And guess what happened?
What?
Power came back
on.
Power came back on. We had a great event, our 4th launch party in 2011. So we have a lot of history with Huntington Beach ourselves. I mean, you can see everybody that we're going around talking about. It's a real big part of what we do. Maybe should we head back that way a little bit and maybe come down Main Street?
So this is Beach Boulevard. So this was how people used to get to the beach, and in fact they still do, from the 405, etc. And this was where they used to come here. And now you can see everything behind us is City Beach, and everything down here is State Beach.
State Beach. And it's another thing just to tie in with me was, I've lived here for 26 years now, but going back about 35 years, that's how old I am. My first trip to Southern California on my own as an adult, I stayed in Huntington Beach on Beach Boulevard in a Best Western, about 2 blocks up. That's what I could afford. And absolutely had the time of my life.
That's
so
great.
I mean, and that's the thing is, I feel like this is one of those more approachable cities.
It is.
Where there isn't something, you're probably going to spend a little bit more to stay on these waterfront resorts, but there are other options for pretty much every pocketbook to come stay here.
We have about 24, 25 hotels. We do have some short-term vacation rentals. So depending on what your budget, what you want to do, how many people are traveling, there's a lot of options there. We just passed, that's the HB wetlands over there.
Yeah.
So they have the Conservancy over there, and then there's the Bolsa Chica Conservancy. So we're anchored basically by those 2 wetlands, and they're just so nice that people, smart people, decided to preserve those areas years ago.
This is another area that's been redone. This whole shopping center right here.
Yep.
So we still have tumbleweeds.
Every once in a while.
Tumbleweeds is still there. No.
Stumbleweeds
is still there. Don't talk about the bar. If you guys know, but it used to be a lot different looking center. Sea Legs used to be there a while ago, but they kept Stumbleweeds.
I've been in there one time in 11 and a half years. I was meeting somebody there. Honestly, if you want a cold draft and you want to disappear sometimes, that's where you go.
That's the spot. We got to give them a little shout out right there.
We do.
Awesome. So we're going up Beach Boulevard. I think we're going to just, maybe talk about a few more things about kind of the downtown area.
Sure.
And why don't we just go over that? Why don't we finish with that and talk about the Tuesday nights? Because I think one of the things that you'll see in Huntington is long before there were COVID closures and businesses outside on patios and taking over streets, Huntington has been doing this, I don't know, it's got to be 30 years maybe?
It is.
And just taking over the main street.
Right.
And they've always been big proponents of letting people have their restaurants and seating outside.
They have.
Even way before this was in fad, right?
Right. And there's a couple, I'll give you a little bit of history. This is because I know the person that kind of helped start that. So way back in the day, it was, I think, on a different night, and it might have been at Pier Plaza for a while. Then they decided, let's put it on Tuesday night and let's close the first 3 blocks of Main Street. And that's what they did. It may even have been up on 4th block for a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I remember, being further up.
Yeah, that parking lot that was there, which is now development. So what's great about it is, and this is pretty wise, it's kind of like, okay, you got a business downtown. How can you get more people to downtown and sell your wares like after hours? So that was the genesis of that.
Right.
So if I had a business, you could set up shop out there, right?
Right.
And they've expanded that now to have a farmer's market and brought in a variety of other sorts of goods and services. And it's, other than when it rains or windy, that thing is happening every Tuesday from about 5 to 9.
And it's great for community. It's great to get out and see people.
It's great.
Yeah.
We have music going on there, and kids are there, and we do a lot of things like a tree lighting.
Yeah.
We do a big Halloween deal where we get.
Yeah, and I would say that, I mean, it's great for a Tuesday night to take your kids, because downtown Huntington Beach on a Friday or Saturday night is a little bit more adult centric, right? It's bars and still restaurants and things like that, but there's definitely a little bit of a fun element that goes on for adult beverages.
There is, and I'll give we're going by some police squad cars up here. I'm going to give them some shout out. We've worked hard with the PD as well as the city council and staff to really, downtown HB, to be quite honest, had that reputation years ago, and that's really it's changed a lot.
Okay.
And during COVID, we had the first 3 blocks, we had them closed, so you had more outside seating.
Mm-hmm.
And there's now a little bit of discussion to kind of bring that back. So what's great is we are getting more families, we are getting more just people coming down there, and there's a sense with the ambassador program that we helped start.
Mm-hmm.
So there are people walking the streets late at night on the weekends.
Oh, good.
So to give you a sense about security, and it's a fun place to be.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, we actually were just fortunate enough during the LA fires, I was able to get in touch with SpaceX, and we helped quite a few agencies get Starlinks.
Yeah.
One of them, we got Costa Mesa, Newport, Beverly Hills, City of Orange, and the Huntington Beach Fire Department through my friend Scotty O, who is a Huntington Beach firefighter, and he put us in touch with the chief, and we were able to get them 30 Starlinks. So when they were fighting the fires, they had telephones up there.
They're the best.
Yeah, so
they're the best.
So and that's sometimes you don't even realize that, like how a city like this helps out other cities, and I think that's really important. So
hey, Eric, let me mention this too. We're going through sort of like these suburban areas here, and they're so close to the downtown core. And what I love about a couple things about Huntington Beach is I think it's this great Mediterranean sort of look. So the temperature only changes about 15 degrees from winter to summer year round.
Right.
So it can be 100 degrees up inland, and it'll be 65 to 75 here, as you very well know.
I know.
But you have all this great landscaping here, and there's blooms as we see.
Yeah.
It's mid-February.
Oh yeah.
And I have roses in my house. I'm about a mile from here. And I just love that. And you see different architecture. You got old ranch like here, and then you got some new stuff that's a little bit more modern.
Definitely a mixture in Huntington. There's not a lot of HOA feeling here. It's more like build what you want, and there's a lot of different stuff.
That's right. That's right.
Which is a nice feeling.
And then for the cyclists, getting back to Orange County and even Huntington, there's bike lanes throughout this entire city.
So very bike friendly.
Oh,
I mean, you have to be because none of us follow biking rules anyway if we live in a beach town. So we all cross where we want and drive where we want. So it's nice to have a lane for that.
So you've come from, say, the 405 or whatever. Now you're coming, this is on Main Street in Huntington High that you referenced earlier. That looks like a
high school,
Right. So here, I mean, look at these great trees here.
Oh yeah, it's gorgeous.
Right. And people, there's a lot of pride in these neighborhoods. And this is where the 4th of July parade, the largest parade west of the Mississippi, 400,000 to 500,000 people basically. And this whole street is lined. And it's unbelievable.
Yeah, I've been down here for a 4th of July.
Major party.
I don't know if I remember being down here, but I was down here.
Other people remember you.
Yeah, they remember me. I try not to have that happen.
Yeah, 2 words, all rise. You don't want to hear that.
I don't want to put on my church clothes on a weekday. Go see the judge. So I think we covered quite a lot. Thank you for telling us all about Surf City.
Yeah. You want to hang a right here? Do you want to go down Main Street?
We'll go down Main Street as we finish up, but I just want to thank you for joining us today. Thank you everybody for listening. Right. And we'll see you next time on Locales Only.
Absolutely.
I want to thank everyone on the Straw Hut Media team, including executive producer Ryan Tillotson and our editor and producer Parker J. Hicks. And as always, a big thank you to Fletcher Jones Motor Cars in Newport Beach for providing this beautiful Mercedes-Benz EQE to be our rolling podcast studio. Join us next time on Locales Only, where you can buckle up and go for a ride in our mobile podcast studio with some of the coolest people in Southern California.